Okay, guys, so I'm here to talk about the Indianapolis Colts and the Redskins season preview. Now, let's first start off with the Indianapolis Colts. Last year, they were 2-14 and got the first pick in the draft. Obviously, they picked Andrew Luck, but during the season, they were 30th in offense and 24th on defense. They gained 99 yards rushing per game, which was 26 in the league, and 187 yards passing, which was 27th. Now, on the defensive side, they were 24th overall. They allowed 143 yards rushing, which was 29th in the league, and 227 yards passing, which was 15th. Now, obviously, on the offensive side, you can't rely on those numbers this year because they just basically reconstructed the whole offense besides Reggie Wayne and Austin Collie. So I won't take those numbers into account, really. Now, obviously, they drafted Andrew Luck last year. Andrew Luck grew for 3,170 yards, 35 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, with a QBR of 167.5 in 12 games. Overall, during his college career, he's been superior, if not excellent, at the college level. But this year, I expect him to struggle, not as much as people think, but still to struggle a little bit, just basically because the only targets he really has on this roster are Reggie Wayne, who last year in 16 games with Curtis Painter and other people going to him, had 75 receptions for 960 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, I expect those numbers to go way up because that's the only wide receiver that Andrew Luck has to this moment. So I expect them to have about 1,100 yards and about 85 to 90 catches. Now, let's look at his other target, Kobe Fleener, last year at Stanford. Kobe Fleener has 32 receptions for 648 yards, and here's the key number, 10 touchdowns. Andrew Luck is gonna rely on him to be a red zone target, and he's gonna rely to be his red zone blanket, basically. I expect Kobe Sr. to have about 50 to 60 catches for about 800 yards and about 11 to 13 touchdowns this year. The reason why I don't rely on Austin Collie for the Colts this year is basically because Austin Collie had a number of concussion issues. Even though he played a full season last year, you never know when he's gonna suffer another concussion. Last year, he had 54 receptions for 514 yards. So, I expect about the same numbers or less. I don't really expect much from him. I think that Andrew Luck is gonna be throwing the ball the majority of the time, 'cause they don't have much at running back. Let's just be honest. What they have at running back is Donald Brown, who is more of a receiver type running back. Last year, Donald Brown had 134 carries for 645 yards and 5 touchdowns. To go along with that, he had 16 receptions for 86 yards and 0 touchdowns. So I expect Andrew Luck to go about. His stats are gonna be this, in my opinion. He's gonna go for 3,700 yards. I say 27 touchdowns and about 19 interceptions, because I believe he's gonna throw the ball a lot, since the only running back he has is Donald Brown, and I don't expect him to do much. Now, let's go on to the defensive side. I'm just gonna hit the key points of the defense. They're gonna have to rely on the linebackers and safeties. They're gonna have to rely on Great Freeman, who last year in the full season had 8.5 sacks. I expect that to be about the same, because the offensive linemen are gonna focus on him on the defensive side. I expect him to have more tackles though, not only 19. I expect him to have about 40 tackles for 8.5 to 9 sacks. Now, Robert Mathis. Last year, he had 43 tackles, for 9.5 sacks and 3 fumbles. Now, we're gonna be about the same. So I expect the two linebackers to have the same production and the safety also. They got Antoine Buffon in a full season. He had 139 tackles and 1 fumble. I expect that to be about the same also. So I expect the defense to be about the same, which is not a good sign for them. Now, let's look at the schedule. Now, looking at the schedule, the early part, they got some winnable games. Of course, they're gonna lose at Chicago, but they face Minnesota and Jacksonville at home before the bye. I think they could conceivably win those games. In the second half, it gets a little bit tougher, but I have them winning a couple games too. I have them winning versus Cleveland and versus Miami. And I have them sneaking a win versus Tennessee. So I basically have them going at Jacksonville. So I have them going 6-10 this year, which is not gonna get them to the playoffs. But I think Andrew Luck and his quarterback skills are gonna be enough to improve them by 5 games. The one thing they need to address next year is the running back position. Well, now I'm gonna talk about the Washington Redskins. Okay guys, so now let's move on to the Redskins. The Redskins last year were 5-11 and finished 4th in the NFC behind all the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants. Now, last year the Washington Redskins were ranked 16th on offense and 13th on defense. They had 100 yards rushing per game and 235 yards passing. On offense, on defense, they allowed 117 yards rushing and 222 yards passing. But the biggest problem with the Redskins last year was the quarterback position. Rex Grossman started most of the season last year, and he compiled some pretty good numbers compared in terms of yards, but in terms of touchdowns and receptions, it was awful. So, Rex Grossman had a completion percentage of 57.9. He threw for 3,151 yards, 16 touchdowns, 20 interceptions in 13 games. Now, as you can see, they needed some help at quarterback, and they did address that in RG3, the 2011 Heisman winner. RG3 last year at Baylor, he had a completion percentage of 72.4. He threw for 4,293 yards, 37 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He also ran the ball pretty well. He had 699 yards rushing and 179 carries, with 10 touchdowns. I don't expect him to do that in the pros since he had a solid running game. I know Evan Royster and Tim Hightower were injured last year, but if they can stay healthy, I have them each for over 800 yards. In 5 games last year, Tim Hightower had 84 carries for 321 yards and 1 touchdown rushing, while on the receiving end, he had 10 catches for 78 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, again, if Tim Hightower could get healthy, I see him carrying the ball over 220 times for about 1,000 yards. And I think Evan Royster is a good compliment. He will have about 800. I think Roy Halou will get some carries, but he won't see the field as much as he did last year. So, with that being said, now let's look at the wide receiving core around RG3. First of all, he has 2 pretty good safety blankets in Fred Jackson and Chris Cooley. Fred Jackson last year, in 12 games, had 59 receptions for 796 yards and 3 touchdowns. I expect him to have about 65 to 70 receptions for about 900 yards and 7 touchdowns, cause RG3 is gonna look for his 2 tight first in the red zone area since they're basically safety blankets. Chris Cooley, in only 5 games, had 8 catches for 65 yards. I expect them to split the time with Fred Jackson. I expect them to have over 50 receptions for 600 yards. Now let's look at his wide receiving core. Obviously, they have a stable in Santana Moss, who's been there for years. In 12 games, he had 46 receptions for 584 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, I expect that to go up since they have, since they're gonna have only one quarterback hopefully this year. I expect them to catch over about 55 to 60 receptions for 700 yards. And the new acquisition that they got in Pierre Garçon, he had 70 receptions for 947 yards and 6 touchdowns. I expect arguably on Garçon, along with the tight ends. Garçon's numbers are gonna be a little bit down since he's gonna rely on the tight ends a bit more. I expect about 60 to 65 catches for 800 yards because in the first half of the year, I expect arguably to mostly go to the tight ends. Now, I expect arguably to go for over 3,500 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. Now let's go to defense. I'm only gonna focus on the key players. Obviously, Brian Orakpo. I know he out for the preseason, but in 16 games last year, he had 9 sacks with 59 tackles. I expect that to go up. I expect him to have over 10 sacks this year to really help the pass rush of the Redskins. The other guy I want to focus on is London Fletcher. Now, London Fletcher is a beast tackler. In 16 games, he had 166 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Now, I expect more of the same. So, I expect him and Orakpo to carry the linebacking core along with the pass rush. I know London Fletcher only has 1.5 sacks, but I expect he will have more since they're gonna double team Brian Orakpo. Now, let's go to the secondary. Now, they have a couple good pieces in Deion Hall and Josh Wilson. I mean, younger Hall, sorry, younger. In 16 games, he had 90 tackles for green reception. I expect the interception to go up to about 5 to really anchor that secondary and make the quarterback afraid to go to his side of the field. I expect the Leandro Hall from Atlanta, a diminished version, but a form from Atlanta. Now let's look at their schedule. Unfortunately, I have the Redskins last in the division again, but they're gonna improve this year. The first half of the schedule is very tough for them. They open up against New Orleans. They have Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, New York, Giants, Pittsburgh, and Carolina. I only see them squeaking out. I see them squeaking out 3 wins at St. Louis, at home against Minnesota, and I see them squeaking a win at home against Atlanta. Now, the second half doesn't get much easier. I see them squeaking out a win at Cleveland versus Philadelphia. And the last game of the year versus Dallas. Cause I think Dallas by that time is gonna have a wild card spot wrapped up. So they will have nothing to pay for. So I have Washington Redskins going 6-10. That's it for today, guys. Peace.